Back in June of 1991, I was 12 years old and we went up north with my mother's side of the family, my cousins, my uncles, and I found myself battling the elements in the wild, fighting for survival. I got lost in that trip because I wanted to go further up the second mountain hiking with my male cousins, and I just didn't want to keep going. And I shared with them that I was gonna go back by myself, and sure, my cousins didn't care, and they sure felt confident that I was going to make it back safely to the cabin. But while going down the hill on my own, after I tripped and I fell and I passed out, and suddenly I woke up and I felt the air muggy, fog around me. It was getting very dark at that point. As I walked further through the woods, it was getting difficult for me to find my way home. I felt lost. My walk felt endlessly, and I was suddenly able to hear weird noises, animals, my fear. I was really afraid, and I had to find my way back home, one way or the other. So I was just trying to remember my way back, and I decided to sit down and think for a little bit and figure it out. How do I'm gonna get back home? And finally, I decided to take a opposite direction that I was taking. But remember, at that point, I was already hurt. I was bleeding a little bit from my head. I had some scratches on my knees from the fall. And I have just to keep thinking, I keep going because I didn't want to be there. It was getting late. And as I was walking, all of a sudden, there was a wolf by me. I was able to hear it. I was terrified, very, very scared of this wolf. So I stopped. I decided just to stand up and not move. And he kept walking in the direction towards me. And he was looking at me, and I was looking at him. And I made the decision just to stay still and let him just do whatever he's gonna do. I didn't wanna do anything to scare him or to attack me, and I stayed still, and he walked past me without even doing anything. He didn't attack me, he didn't jump on me, and it was very, very, very scary. It was one of, I think by far, my 12 years old was the scariest moments of my life. And how I overcame that challenge was to be able to stay still, be calm, and take deep breaths. But I waited there for a long time before I decided to move. And I was able to reach out back home. And when I got back home, my male cousins were already there, and they were playing. Some of my uncles were playing cards, my parents were there, and I reached out to my parents to help me out. And I showed them what happened to me, my scratches, my injury in my head. And it didn't seem like anybody cared or knew about my whereabouts. And I never shared this with my parents or anybody. As I mentioned in the chapter before, I did keep a lot of the bad things and different things to myself. I just never did. I don't know why. I just never did. But I overcome that challenge. And following after that, I had horrible nightmares of that wolf. And I was able to overcome those nightmares after a month or so. But that was a very challenging moment of my life. And that never changed who I was. It never changed because I was always a girl that liked to take challenges, to take risks, and to try to advance, to do better, to become more competitive, to be able to endure as a man can endure. And that's who I am. And it was a very unique, scary moment of my life, but that's something that I'm just sharing right now after almost 30 years, 29 years ago.